In Muslim countries, women tended to occupy a role in the family. And I think it's been quite difficult, especially in certain Muslim communities in the West that have become fairly isolated. They're reproducing the roles of women back home in the societies here, and those women haven't had a lot of freedom. But I think that's changing a lot. I mean, I've personally seen a lot of programs that are geared directly towards women to try to encourage them to break out of those roles which may have been ascribed to them by others, and to opt to exercise rights for themselves. And I think that's why we're optimistic about the role of women, because there is this opportunity for women to kind of forge new roles for themselves, present a new face of Islam to Westerners who might be apprehensive about Islam and might have ideas of sort of, certain traditions, certain ways of thinking that don't necessarily reflect Islam as it is or as it could be, especially in Western countries. Youth want to feel like they're citizens, and most of what's interesting and what is often ignored in this discussion is these aren't immigrants that we're talking about. We're talking about settled communities, settled Muslim populations, and youth they're born into France. They're born as French citizens or German citizens or Austrian citizens or American citizens, but they often feel very isolated and discriminated against. And so we're talking, what they want is citizenship. They want to feel like they're equal partners in society, and they want what all of their friends have and what they feel like they deserve to have and what they're told that they deserve as citizens. And I think that's an important thing to remember here. So I think a lot of the tensions that have arisen is because the youth populations don't feel like they belong, and they don't feel like certain things are expected of them, but they don't feel like they're getting that the state is holding up its side of the bargain. There's a lot of discussion about integration, and I think people have made some good points. What is integration, and what does integration mean? So maybe there needs to be a focus away from what I think has become an obsession about integration into, as we were saying, more, a sort of social introspection, maybe that's what you want to say, about looking at the, at the big picture and how can we learn from each other and maybe not necessarily adapt to one model that's called, that's considered the best way forward, the best way to integrate. Because there is no integration policy in the United States, and there hasn't really been a debate about it. But, I think immigrants who come to the United States have a certain idea of what they can make of their lives, and I think that's a very powerful idea. I mean, I think the idea of the American dream still exists for many people. My father was an immigrant. I speak to people all the time of different faiths and ethnicities who have immigrated to the United States, and they do believe that they can be successful if they buy into the American dream. And I think we need to have that, and I think that needs to be sort of transferred on a broader level, that an idea of a Western dream, that if you come, that you can become a part of society. You can maintain in the private sphere your own faith and belief and morals, but that doesn't have to be at odds with society at large, and you don't have to assimilate or shed your beliefs to become successful in the society. And I think that's an important lesson that the United States could offer as a country of immigrants that have been assimilating and integrating immigrants for generations and generations. That there are many different, there's no one American. There are many Americans, and through that we've made a vibrant society, albeit one that has problems. But there are ways to, there are channels of dissent.